Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni are at the heart of a legal firestorm that has Hollywood on edge. One lawsuit, two massive claims, and a whole lot of secrets threatening to burst into the open. At first glance, you'd never guess these two would end up on opposite sides of a courtroom. Yet, here they are, locked in a high-stakes battle that's turning into one of the most talked about controversies in recent Hollywood history. People everywhere are asking the same question: how did it get this bad? This all began when Blake Lively decided to go on the offensive, suing Justin Baldoni for a staggering $250 million. Her claim centered around serious accusations that set the tabloids on fire. Some saw it as Blake's bold move to protect her image and career. Others wondered if she was unleashing a fury she couldn't fully control. After all, once you take something this explosive to the courts and to the media, there's no going back. Justin, known more for his on-screen charm and feel-good messages, suddenly found himself under a spotlight he never asked for. Instead of agreeing to an out-of-court settlement, he took everyone by surprise. Instead of bowing to Blake's demands, he dug in. People started murmuring. Why wasn't he simply paying up or entering talks to save face? That question only grew louder when Justin's next move came to light, and it was a jaw-dropping counterpunch. When Justin filed a $400 million countersuit, the entire storyline flipped. Suddenly, he wasn't just defending himself. He was accusing Blake of extortion and defamation, insisting she had orchestrated a scheme against him. Confusion among fans soared. Was she in the wrong all along, or was he simply trying to overwhelm her into silence? Hollywood insiders whispered that Justin had a stack of evidence to back up his claims, but from the outside, everything seemed murky. News outlets ran with stories of these two once-respected stars now tearing each other down. There were rumors that lawyers from both sides were digging up every skeleton in the other's closet, preparing to unleash a flurry of bombshells as soon as they had a moment in the spotlight. That spotlight arrived during the very first courtroom hearing. People tuned in, expecting a calm introduction to the legal process, but what they got was a fiery clash. Justin's lawyer, Brian Fredman, wasted no time going on the offensive. He targeted not only the validity of Blake's claims, but also her approach to handling them in the media. Blake's legal team, on the other hand, seemed rattled by Fredman's aggression. At one point, they tried to lock down his public commentary, begging the judge to issue a gag order that would prevent him from making any more sensational statements outside the courtroom. The judge looked at both sides and refused, pointing out that Blake's camp had been feeding the press just as much. Silencing Justin while allowing Blake to continue speaking out would be, in the judge's words, grossly unfair. This wasn't a mere technicality. It was a significant triumph for Justin. It meant he and his lawyer could continue freely stating their case in the public arena, leveling the media playing field. And from the way both teams reacted, it was obvious Blake hadn't expected to lose that motion. The next pivotal moment arose when the court insisted that Blake must sit for a deposition without controlling who would question her. In other words, she'd have to face Brian Fredman directly if he wanted to interrogate her. Depositions aren't for show. They're sworn testimonies recorded under oath, and every word can be used at trial. If Blake truly believed in her allegations, you'd think she'd be eager to prove them under oath. Yet her lawyers pushed hard to allow someone else, anyone else, to handle her questioning, which set off alarm bells. That move fueled suspicions that maybe there's something in her story that can't stand the heat of direct cross-examination. The judge denied her request immediately. It was another defeat for Blake's camp, and another sign that Justin's side was gaining ground. In just one hearing, multiple rulings had gone against her, stacking the odds in Justin's favor before the case had even fully taken shape. If the battle in court was vicious, the public relations war was even more intense. After Blake went to the press first, handing her accusations to a major newspaper, Justin responded by taking his story straight to the people. He launched a website devoted to the case, complete with legal filings and behind-the-scenes details. Blake's lawyers were infuriated, calling it a blatant attempt to sway public opinion. Yet Justin insisted it was only fair given Blake's earlier media moves. If she could reveal her side of the story to hungry reporters, why couldn't he fight back using the internet? The judge again sided with Justin, leaving Blake's team to deal with a public that was starting to question her motives. Social media erupted into arguments over who was truly in the right. Some fans remained staunchly loyal to Blake, trusting her claims without question. Others felt the tide shifting. If Justin was so confident he had proof, maybe he wasn't the villain she'd described. Hashtags took off on both sides, fueling endless debates on whether Blake was unraveling or Justin was spinning a masterful narrative. What raises the stakes even more is how this war could ripple into Blake's family life. She's married to Ryan Reynolds, an A-lister in his own right, but the combined worth of their fortunes might still not be enough to protect them from a $400 million judgment if Justin's countersuit succeeds. That staggering figure could put them in real financial jeopardy. Industry buzz suggests that even Ryan is concerned, privately pushing for an out-of-court solution to avoid a total meltdown. After all, reputations can be rebuilt, but losing hundreds of millions is something else entirely. Rumors swirl that the tension is affecting Blake behind the scenes, and if she doesn't navigate this carefully, she could find herself losing not just money, but also any goodwill she once enjoyed from studios, fans, and brand partnerships. All eyes are now on March 2026, when the main trial is scheduled to begin. It's shaping up to be a blockbuster legal showdown, one that could either vindicate Blake or leave her facing a catastrophic judgment. Every twist and turn, every fresh piece of evidence leaked or posted only adds to the suspense. Some insiders think they'll settle, sparing both sides the public spectacle of a massive trial, but others believe they've both dug in too deep. Justin is determined to clear his name and even profit from what he sees as an unwarranted attack. Blake, for her part, might see backing down as an admission of guilt, something she can't afford after staking her entire reputation on her lawsuit. In the end, this isn't just about money or even who wins in court, though losing $400 million would be disastrous for Blake. It's also about what each of them stands to lose in the eyes of the public. Hollywood rarely forgets those who get dragged through a scandal of this scale, and a nasty lawsuit can stain careers forever. So now the million-dollar question remains. Will Blake hold her ground, risking financial and reputational ruin if she's proven wrong? Or will she strike a settlement to avoid facing a mountain of potential evidence that Justin insists he's ready to unleash? One way or another, the clock is ticking. What happens next could very well define not only Blake Lively's future in Hollywood, but also Justin Baldoni's place in an industry that rewards those who win by any means necessary. Will she manage a comeback, or is this the beginning of a downfall no one saw coming? The only certainty is that this war is far from over. With each legal motion and every leaked document, the tension climbs higher. And when the gavel finally strikes in the main trial, you can bet the entire entertainment world will be watching, ready to witness the moment this roller coaster reaches its final jaw-dropping loop.